Hello and welcome to this section on type hinting. Type hinting is one of the important rule that you have to follow in your programming style. Okay, because PHP is loosely typed, means it allows you, if you define something without a data type, let's say you define a variable, you are not specifying what type it is, type in the sense what data type it is, right? So PHP doesn't really care what type it is, but from the coding point of view, you have to understand that when you write something, your other programmers, or maybe in future when you're referring your code, you should understand what that code is doing. Well, type hinting is one of the concepts which help you to write better coding. So you have to understand this concept and follow this type hinting in your programming style. Let's look at the section objectives and let's look at what you will be able to learn in this section. Okay, so after completing section, you will be able to understand what is type hinting, and then you will look at how to do type hinting with arrays and how to do type hinting methods with objects. Okay, then we'll work with exercises, resources, assignment and quiz using the type hinting. Okay, so let's jump into the lecture now. Hello and welcome to the lecture on type hinting. Let's understand what is type hinting and what it means by adding a type which is nothing but a data type to your program. Okay, consider this example of class student having a method called add student. Okay, just look at this method now. Okay, when you look at this method, you are not sure what is to be passed and what is the return type from the definition. Maybe this lines of code is only 3, that's why you're able to determine, okay, flag it's returning and it's of a type true, which is a boolean type. But imagine you have 1,000 lines of code and you have some return statements here and there. So you're really not sure when you look at the code what it is doing, right? From the best practice point of view, you have to apply the type hinting. You have to tell what is the type of the variables that is being used in these methods, right? For example, if you are writing an add student method, what is this $name, which data type it is, and what type you are returning. It's basically PHP won't stop you to ignore it. From a good coding standpoint, you have to really apply this type hinting in your program. So how can you enhance this program to add the type hinting? Okay, so here is an example. You can do it via adding the types. Okay, you can say string $name. Now you know when there's an input parameter, it is of type string, right? And then you put a colon and then you put an return type. Okay, and then you are again mentioning and you are improving your program just by saying that it's a boolean return type. Okay, so declaring methods return type in function definition is called as type hinting. This is the concept of how do you write a clean code and improve your code with the type hinting. So whenever you are writing functions in OOPS, try to remember type hinting. Okay, always hint what is the type, what is the data type, always hint to the program, so that it's not mostly from a benefit of a program, so that when you return it in the future or someone else is enhancing your program as a library, then this is easy for them to understand what is this function all about and what are the data types used in this function. Okay, it's the main purpose of type hinting is to provide hints about the input parameter type and return type. Okay, so this is a concept. Please apply in your programming style and write better code with it. Let's do an example to understand this concept. Hello and welcome to the lecture on type hinting using arrays. So if you have using arrays, how do you type hint it? Okay, let's look at a classic example and we'll work through different examples just to understand type hinting. So I'm going to create a folder called type hinting. Then I'm going to create a class here, type arrays.php. It's a type hinting for arrays. Okay, let's define a university class and a student class and then we'll work through the example. And when you're working with type hinting, okay, make sure you're declaring the strict types. So this will catch any errors that you have. Let's say you mention of type string, you pass an integer, that will catch these errors. It's a good practice to have a strict types and make sure everyone will follow the type hinting. Okay, this will enhance your code and it will help the readability of your code. Okay, So let's say you have a private variable called name, then we define the get and the set method. Okay, so now you have to really tell what is it type, right? You're saying type of string. Okay, and now you can return it. Okay, so when you're saying it's a type string, if it is a number, that will give you an error, right? That's where the declared strict types come in picture. Okay, so you're declaring and then you're saying it is strict types and it has to be string. Okay, typically we write name. Now you have to mention what is this name. It's of type string, right? And then you still have to mention whether it's written anything or not. So if it's not returning, you should mention is at void. Okay, okay, so get set is done. So let's write our student class. Okay, one thing to remember is when someone is trying to assign a value in the declaration itself, not in the constructor, it's again a good practice. You're actually defining the variable data type. So instead of mentioning it as string, you're assigning that string value and now it becomes a string, right? And then it's basically telling it's a string type, and if it's an integer type, you might be saying 0. So you are hinting already, oh, this is a string type or an integer type. Okay, typically you do this kind of stuff of initialization in the constructor. Okay, so let's do a details, and here we'll try to work with arrays. Okay, so you are setting something, you can say it's void type, you're not returning anything. And now you can say, then you're saying student name and it is of type array. Okay, so you're passing a student array, you can say students array, and then students array will have ID and name, and you can assign that value to your properties. So we'll say student ID is equal to students of ID and name. Okay, okay, so this is how you're type hinting with an array. So you are saying it's an array, now you can safely go and use it as an array. Okay, that's basically called as type hinting. And if you pass in a string to it, it will fail before it goes inside the code because it doesn't match the definition. And this happens because this declaration will catch all the declarations that you're doing and mentioning it as a type, and then you're not passing the same type, this will throw out an error. Okay, so it's doing a syntax check for us, which is not available by default in PHP. Okay, so let's create the university class and let's set the name. Let's create the student. Let's create an array. Okay, so let's call this set details, and then you can pass the students. Okay, and students is an array, right? So now you can do a var dump of $s. Okay, so let's print this and see what is the value. Okay, so now you can see the var dump, right? The var dump is dumping the student name and the student ID, right? So let's do a quick example to understand how the type hinting works. So let's say you mention not a string but an integer and you run the program, you get an error. Okay, this is basically caught from the declare type. Okay, so it's a good practice that you follow the type hinting, and for arrays you can use the word called array and always mention what is the return type. It's a good practice, and also you want to set the type hinting in your programming style by using the declare method. Then you have to start defining all the data types in your program. Okay, that's the concept about data type. In the next lecture we'll see how to do type hinting with objects. So that's all for this lecture. I'll see you in the next one. Hello and welcome to the lecture on type hinting with objects. Okay, so let's use the same example and we'll call it as type objects. Okay, and we'll try to see how to do the type hinting with objects. Okay, so one thing we'll do is we will pass the object here. So we'll say university $u. Okay, this is the type hinting, and you are saying $u is of type university. It's an object. Okay, and where is your object? Your object is here. Let's changing to Boston University. Okay, so now you are passing the $u. Okay, and then your type hinting, it has to be of that object. If you pass anything else, like if you pass a string, then you should get an error. Okay, let's try this out. Okay, because it is of type university and you cannot pass a string. Okay, this is, you are restricting the code just to work as it is defined, because once you have this code you might be doing something like this. Because you marked this as private, you have to set it with the set name. Okay, so let's execute this. Okay, so let's change this back to u. Okay, and then you are calling the set name and you are getting the get name. Okay, so you can see the Boston University has been set. Okay, so this is the example. So most important thing is not how you call this, how you define a type hinting with an object. You have to mention the class name followed by some variable, and when you pass in, you have to pass in the object. Okay, and you make sure you have to have a declare type here, or else if you're not mentioning this, then program will not able to catch it. Okay, and then it will obviously error out by calling some of the methods on it if you're passing anything else apart from that object. Okay, so this is a good practice, right? If you're thinking in OOPS and you're planning to write OOPS, make sure you have this practice. And most of the programs that's been written at the enterprise level, they will have declare types. They want to make sure everything is defined. Their input is defined, their output is defined properly, so that its readability is very high for this program. Okay, obviously anyone looking at it, they can read this definition. They can say, oh, I have to pass an array and I have to pass an instance of a university, and then I have to pass the return type. And when you compare the same program like this, you don't even know what this is all about. And obviously when someone is trying to use this method and trying to call it, they will, most of the percentage they will fail, because they won't understand what is the type here. Okay, so type hinting is a concept which will help you to write and simplify your coding style. So that's all about how do you type hint with objects, and I'll see you in the next one. Hello and welcome to the exercise section. Let's do an exercise to practice type hinting. Okay, for this you write a post class and you try to define some methods like save post, fetch post. Then you define a post as a property, then you write get and set methods. Okay, it's not about what you're writing inside the program. Mostly it should be readable. Okay, you should enhance your program with type hinting. Well, type hinting promotes good practice, so try to write and keep an habit of defining your types. Okay, so this is a good exercise for you to start defining, so you'll understand, okay, when I write this I have to define the types. Okay, so try out this exercise without saying you know all the concepts, but till here is only you are applying the type hinting. You're defining the data types for the input parameters and for the output parameters. Okay, so go ahead and do this exercise, and I'll show you anyway how can you apply the type hinting, which is a good practice, and by using a post class. Okay, pause this video here and do the exercise now. Welcome back. Let's look at the exercise now. So if you go to the material folder, go to type hinting, exercise, open this up. Okay, there's nothing much logic in terms of writing it here, but you understand that type hinting promotes good practice. That's what you have to understand. And you can control type hinting, you can enforce type hinting in your program by declaring the strict types. That's nothing but this statement. And make sure your team follows a standard inputs and outputs, so that when someone share your code, they also know how it is written, what is the input parameter that you have to pass. Okay, so let's define a class post, a post property. Then you have a get post and a set post. And get post has a return type, which is again a good practice. Set post has input parameter data type and output parameter data type. It's a good practice again. Then save post is another method which has a return type. Then you know save post is returning a boolean variable. Then fetch post basically says, okay, I'm going to fetch with an integer value as an input parameter and output parameter as an array. It's a very good example, a classic example to understand this method is returning an array. If you don't mention an array, it's really difficult to understand how this code has been written, right? You don't know what this code will return. Maybe your assumption of fetching post could be like one record, but typically it's not a one record, but it's an array. Okay, well, type hinting will improve your code quality, and if you're looking forward for having a better quality in your code, or maybe in your team you want to promote this, you can promote type hinting in your team as well. Okay, so this is a common practice for most of the enterprise program that you write. We always declare this strict types in the top, and whenever we write the program, we make sure we follow all the strict types. Okay, so that there's no room for error when they are calling these methods with the wrong parameters and expecting a wrong output. Okay, and it also promote readability. Just by reading the code, you know what is the input and output parameters. Okay, so this is the exercise. Make sure you do this exercise so that you get a practice and you get a habit of writing the data types. Well, that's all on the exercise on type hinting, and I'll see you in the next one. Hello and welcome to the summary section of type hinting. So by now you should be able to understand what is type hinting, how to work with type hinting with arrays, how to apply type hinting with objects, and also I hope you have worked with exercises, resources, assignment and quiz using the type hinting. Well, that's all for this section on type hinting, and I'll see you in the next one.